Fantasy map making can be hard for DMs because although we are very talented at world building, we're not always great artists. That is why I'm creating this series to show you how to draw a map from start to finish without having any artistic knowledge whatsoever. The first thing to do on any fantasy map is to plan out your continents, and this is a pretty big deal. I'm going to show you a few different ways of doing this, but the first way is probably the easiest way, and that is using an online map generator. Not only does it bring your world to life, but it's a cool prop that your players can use while they're playing the game to map out their adventures. Eventually, I will be doing a big series over on my YouTube channel, so go check that out as well. But without further ado, let's get down to it. The first thing you're going to want to do is find a map generator. Now, I've used Asgars, and that's only because I've used it before and I've always found it works pretty well. Then you're going to want to make sure your map fits on a piece of paper and print it off. You could even print off a few different ones and mix and match continents together. Next, you're going to want a pair of scissors, and all you're going to do is you're going to cut out the rough shapes of the continents to begin with. This is so you can rearrange them and move them about on a piece of paper, and what you're going to do is you're going to get the rough shapes out first, and then you're going to cut them in more detail. Don't worry about any of the little islands, as you can add them in later. Next comes the long part. You're going to go around that coastline and you're going to cut out each and every little nook and cranny. Now, this doesn't have to be perfect, but it's good to have a good outline just to begin with. In all honesty, this took me about half an hour, but with the end result, it's actually not that bad whatsoever. After this, you're going to get a separate piece of paper, which is going to be what your map's going to be drawn on. Now, I spent a bit of time just maneuvering these islands and pieces together, and I actually overlapped a couple in the end, and I thought that looked really cool. Then you take a pencil, not a pen, and you're going to want to go around the outlines, and it doesn't matter if you don't get the exact shapes, you just want a rough guide, because we can go in and change this a bit later. This is just for the initial shapes of the continents, and I'm going to add some more bits over time anyway. Now, I didn't think this was busy enough, so I added a few more little islands, and you can really just be creative with this. I'm basing it off of places where I think that it will look good. I tend to find that peninsulas and things like that form good groups of islands, and I tend to do them in groups of 3, as I think this gives it a more even shape. At the end of this, you should have some pencil drawn continents that are ready to embellish. Now, this is just one way to do this. In the coming days and weeks, I'm going to be showing you a few different more tips and then taking this map all the way to a finished product. So if you want to see more of those tips and tricks, follow me for more.